Welcome back to the living room, albeit briefly. This is that Blues Junior there that got the new speaker and had a bad cabinet rattle. And it was the stupid metal mesh grill thing to have in the back of that thing to protect the tubes. It's not really necessary. And no matter how I tightened the screws, it was just rattling really bad. And at that point, I had some other little issues. Turns out to be stuff in the room that was ringing out sympathetically. But I tried to test them in more than one environment before giving back to the owners. And we've got two almost identical Epiphone Sheridan, the 61 reissue, which is in spec closer to a Riviera. And the one on the stand had a previous headstock repair. And I loosened the truss rod because it had no relief in the neck whatsoever after the weather changed. And there was a very small crack sound as I turned the truss rod. Whoever had done that headstock repair had gotten glue on the truss rod and or the truss rod nut, which should not have happened. But anyway, the nut has slightly shifted on that. So that's going to a guitar tech to have that whole thing looked at. As a result, it's playing a little bit sharp in the lower frets because the nut moved physically, and the open high E string is really muted. This one's in much better spec. This is the second one that we got. The bridge that was on it was really, really bad. It had the saddles in the wrong locations. It's supposed to be certain height saddles for certain strings to give the proper radius. Someone had mixed and matched those incorrectly, and they had great big groove slots where the plain strings were and tiny little notches where the wound strings were, and so the whole action was just up and down. All the string heights were randomly crazy. I am sending this back with the owner with a loaner bridge. This is actually a nickel ABR1 from one of my I think it's from the Les Paul. This is from the SG. This is the one the SG came with. And it's all intonated, and it plays a lot better than that one ever did before the nut thing happened with the Sheridan Epiphone stock bridge. So the plan for these two guitars, this one has a factory nut. The slots are high. It plays a little bit sharp around here, and it has a little excess material once those strings are lowered. And the other one's got a Tusk nut, which was pretty good until it moved. So these are both going to a good tech to have new nuts put on and have that headstock repair re-examined for any other issues, because you should be able to turn a truss rod. I didn't do anything heroic. I was giving it like an eighth of a turn counterclockwise, if anything, taking off tension. So I didn't do anything wrong. The owner knows that. If you fix a headstock repair, if you use glue, don't get glue on the truss rod. That should be just a no-brainer. The plan at that point is they will both get new bridges. This one's probably going to get a gold ABR1 Faber. But that one, once the headstock and nut are all addressed, is going to get a gold Bigsby, probably a B7, maybe a B6. I need to look into that, and a gold roller bridge to go along with the Bigsby. But this one's going to be more or less stock, just with a better bridge and a new nut. And the fret ends on this one, I can feel them. They're a little bit rough. So the same guy who does the nut will smooth out the fret ends like they were done on this one. Other than that, these guitars really sound great with these mini humbuckers. the strings, of course, are new. Need to stretch out a bit on this one. But the owner will be here to take these to the actual luthier. I do setup work on guitars. I do anything electronically on guitars, and I can do relief set. If everything's working, I can make minor adjustments to a nut. I can certainly set up a bridge and all that fun stuff. But when it comes to doing nuts or headstock repairs, I just don't have the tools or the setup to do that, and I'd rather leave that to someone who's invested in all the proper tools.
Sounds like it's sitaring a little bit.
Right, it's muted. Now play at the first fret. It's clean. It's clean everywhere but the first fret.
The nut.
That's the nut.
Yeah.
I think it's shifting. Now play the low E string on the neck pickup and listen to that low end. It sounds good. When you hear the other one, it's got a lot more. I think the nut is where all the problems in this guitar are.
Okay, so
I know that nut move because when I had done the previous work on this nut, shaping it was playing in tune on these first three frets, and now they're all a little bit sharp.
Yeah.
So play it to get your ears acclimated. The other one sounds and plays better.
Okay, so I should just stay on the
wherever you want to.
We can definitely hear that.